Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome back to our unit roster breakdown series. Thought I'd break things up a little bit with the release of the game and focus on the two in-game factions that are only playable in multiplayer, the Normans and the Norse. The Normans don't feature many units overall, which isn't all that surprising. What is convenient is the option to choose either a foot general or a cavalry general. Norman Huscarls feature a massive amount of armor-piercing damage and a high armor rating. If you're a general that likes to see the front line combat, this unit is for you. The other option is the Norman Miles, which boasts a very high melee damage rating of 51 and a ridiculous shield value of 40. Combined with their high armor, the Norman Miles is built to shrug off some serious range damage. Moving on to Spearmen, you have two super cheap levy options with the Norman Spearman progression, featuring a great shield value and having extra charge defense. Move up to your retinue Norman shield and mailed spears, and the price jumps dramatically, but so does their melee skill, armor, and morale, very well worth their bump up in gold. The Norman sword infantry is one of their weaker points. The entire progression line from their tier 1 retinue main warriors up to their tier 3 retinue Norman foot soldiers tend to suffer from lower melee attack, armor, and morale compared to their British Isle counterparts, with the Norman foot soldiers only seeing a bump up in shield value over a very small amount of other high-ranking swords. Their axe infantry is also less than impressive, though it might be of note that their tier 1 Norman axe levy do hold the values of a tier 2 levy axeman with most of the other factions. Their tier 2 Norman axemen really only see a tiny increase in melee skill and charge bonus. Moving on to range, the Norman levy archers and Norman archers are nothing to be very alarmed by. Low morale, extremely low accuracy levels of 15 and 18, the only positives is their medium rate of fire, though most archers share the same values. The Normans do have some tier 2 retinue Flemish crossbowmen, the only other faction with access to crossbows, and while they do have a leg up in terms of missile damage on their bow infantry brethren, they pale in comparison with Kirkin's Alban and Lowland crossbowmen with significantly lower morale and accuracy. Cavalry is the Normans' game, despite only having 4 units to choose from. What you get from their Norman horseman progression is a consistently higher shield value and charge bonus, with your tier 3 retinue Norman knights having the highest shield and charge bonus values in the game. These horsemen are designed to absorb ranged attack while also making for extremely efficient counterattackers and flanking units. What we have in the Normans is a faction that is designed to absorb damage. Having high shield and armor values relatively across the board attests to that. Their range game isn't all that impressive alone, but combined with a solid front line of spears and some swords for backup and a handful of crossbowmen could indeed cause a bit of disruption. Look to deploy several units of cavalry to disrupt the enemy's back lines and force them to spread out their units thinner than they'd like. That's all for the Normans. I hope you enjoyed the little surprise. Be on the lookout for the other in-game faction, the Norse, later in the day. Thank you for sticking around through the series. I'm having a blast going through these rosters. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next video.